Okay, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David, Erev Shabbos, Parshas Hazinu, Shabbos Tshuva. Wow. Unbelievable, right? Well, Hashem. All right, so we're learning Hilchos Tefillin in Likutey Halachos, and we're up to Hilchos Tefillin, Halacha Vav, right? We're in the middle of Lamed Aleph, right? Lamed Aleph is taking a little bit of time. I'm hoping that we can finish it today. Be'ez Hashem. All right? Here we go. So we're learning all these beautiful concepts about comets and matzah. We're learning that really the Yetzer Hara, he's always trying to convince a person that to convince a person to have to engage in faulty humility, right? Yeah, you're not worthy. You can't do this. Who are you to change? Who are you to do mitzvahs, right? Who are you to do this, right? And we learned yesterday that really the main thing is to know that Hashem really wants everybody back. Hashem wants our tshuva. Hashem wants to take everyone back. We keep saying that in the slichos, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us back. He wants every Jew to make tshuva. That's really what he wants. So now we're saying today here, siman shel comets. What's the siman to know if something's comets? What's the sign to know if something is comets or not? Right? The siman of comets, right? The siman. Kol shehichsifu panav. It turns white, right? Chesifu, something like it turns white, almost like I know. Do you ever watch the yeast when they proof yeast and stuff? How it turns like a white color, right? You do that, right? So it turns like a white color, right? And the dough turns white, and then that's how you can know. That's how you can know if it was comets. Okay, panav. Now, but why is he saying this now? Why is this important? K'may shekasav Mishnah. Hichsifu panav, bechinas busha. That's an idea of busha, right? The same way when someone's embarrassed, so they can get a white face, right? They get embarrassed when they see something, right? Sometimes if they get really embarrassed, they get a red face, right? Right, a red face. But in inner embarrassment, when someone feels something, he may turn a little white. Is that you? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, Shemisham nimshach hachametz. That's where the chametz comes. B'chol hashon hachametz mitukan ayedei busha de kedusha. Because all year the chametz, we can eat our chametz during the year, and it doesn't affect us, right? Because when we eat the chametz, we have the busha de kedusha, right? When we look at what you said, when we make the hamaitzi lechem in aretz, right? And then we just look at the challah, look at it for a second, and realize, wow, this is something amazing. And look what went into this, the wheat, right? To plant the wheat, to harvest the wheat, right? To winnow it and to do all of that stuff, right? It's amazing. I'm always amazed how they figure out how to do what they do with wheat. Yeah, like, wow, okay, we're gonna throw it up, and then the shaft is gonna come up, and right? And then we're going to grind it, right? We're going to grind it, and then we're going to have whole wheat, and we'll have this kind, that kind. Unbelievable. But okay, when you think about it, and you think how HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes all these things in the world, and gave us this knowledge, right? Because really, it's in the world. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the idea, right? We spoke about that a while ago, right? When something. There's all the science and everything is in the world. Was in the world. There's no ein chiddush tachas hashemesh, right? There's nothing new. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu chooses when things are going to be revealed, right? And even scientists they use the lesson like that. They use a discovery. They made a discovery, right? They don't say they didn't. It's not there's nothing new. They just discovered it was always here. It's interesting. What?
Covered.
What? Discovered. Yeah. They made a discovery. That means it was always here. Discovered, right? They just uncovered it. It was always there. No, so when you realize that, and then you think about Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam, Boirei Hamaitzi Lechem in Arts. You were the one that made this bread, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. and you turn it back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so then it's a little bit different. And that's how we can have the anava, the kedusha, when we recognize Hashem in everything in our lives, right? Recognizing Hashem gives us the anava, right? We said when we see the Pnei Tzaddik, Riyas Pnei Tzaddik, right? So that causes the person to think again and to make tshuva, right? And then we said that causes the person to learn Torah, right? Because when a person learns Torah, he realizes how vast the Torah is. He realizes how deep the Torah is. And then he realizes how little he knows, and he realizes how great HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, and he wants to get closer to Hashem. So Anova the Kedusha is really the best thing to bring us closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Okay? So again, that's why during the year we said on Pesach we don't eat the comets because we have at the time the Mitzrayim and Pari are still around, but after Shvi Shal Pesach they were drowned. Right, they were all drowned, and then we were left with the mayim of kedusha, because that's like we said that the Rebbeinu was merachefes al pnei hamayim, right, and that's the Torah. Okay, very good. Shenimtzach mekabolas haTorah, ava b'shas yitzias Mitzrayim koidim kabolas haTorah. But but in the time of coming out of Mitzrayim, before kabolas haTorah. Right, before we accepted the Torah, we're coming out. Nechaz habusha hamoichin the katnus ha'akmin es halev mi Hashem yizbarach. So there comes the faulty busha, which brings a person, which stuffs up the person's heart, and it separates him from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? Because like we said, the Yetzirah says, like, who do you think you are, right? When we went out of Mitzrayim, we were in the 49th level of impurity. Right? We were on the 49th level of impurity. So if we would have had the Yetzirah really work on us, Hashem's taking you out. Are you worthy to go out? Yeah, we are worthy to go out because Hashem's taking us out.
Right, yeah.
And Hashem just told us, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, when I'm on this low state. Right? Hashem said that we're His firstborn. We're His people. When did He tell us that? Not at Har Sinai. He told us that when we were in Mitzrayim. He told us that when we were in Mitzrayim. In other words, that would give us that encouragement. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us the encouragement that we can do this, that we can go out. You're with me. B'ni b'chayri Yisrael means that you are with me. Hashem says you are with me. You're my child. You're with me. You can do this. You'll do this with me. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu keeps saying in the whole Sefer Devarim, right? You go with Hashem and you're going to be successful. Right? That's the whole, okay. Al Kain Oz HaChametz Oser B'Bal Yirah B'Al Yamatzah. Therefore, the Chametz is Oser B'Bal Yirah B'Al Yamatzah. Like we said, it's a strange law, right? You can't see it, don't find it, don't get it. You have nothing to do with it. It's a very strange law, because really all other things that we have an Isser on, there's no such a thing. You can't find it. You can't, right? Yeah. Like let's say other foods that are not kosher, right? So there's no issue. You can't find it. You can't see it, right? There's no issue like that, right? You can't eat a piece of pork, right? But there's no one said you can't own it, right? You can own it. You can see it. Right? It's strange, right? It's very strange. You can't consume it. But you can own it, right? A piece of non-kosher piece of meat, right? So you can do that, but you can feed it. If a person has animals, he can feed it to his dog, right? There's no problem with that. There's no problem, right? But even so much so when it comes to Pesach, even people don't know that. But even for their dogs, if they have a pet, a family pet, they have to get special food, right? Because again, even though you're going to have, good morning, Sasha. You're going to have Shabbos, Kodesh. Okay. Nechaz habusha amoichin the katnus. Okay, there we go. Bal yirah b'al yamatzah. Ve'emes. Ikar kol hanis yoinos. Shenisu aveiseinu es HaKadosh Baruch Hu shenimtzechu mibechina zayis. All the tests that we tested Hashem, right? We want food. We wanted our meat. Hashem gave us meat. We want water. We want everything with food, right?
Oh,
right, we always tested
Hashem, over food,
Right, yeah, Hashem, hey, the water is bitter here. What are we going to do about it? Moshe Rabbeinu took the pieces of wood, he put it into the water was sweet. Right, may rum mara, right? Unbelievable. Kidar deya, ubivadei herminu b'Hashem yizbarach, sheyochal lashpia lehem kol dover. They believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu certainly can give them everything. Achabaldova ikem libam ayadei bechinas meichin dekatnes ad sheyomer belibam v'chi anu ru'uyim sheyitein lanu lechem amayim b'midbar derech nesiach keila. Rav Nassan's giving us the secret behind why were we constantly complaining? We all certainly believed that Hashem can take care of us. Right? Hashem didn't take us into the desert to have us die of thirst or hunger. That's not why Hashem took us. We all believed that. But what was the thing? The problem was that the Yetzer was getting into us and stuffing up our hearts. So we weren't able to feel the emunah that we had. We weren't able to engage with it. He shielded it. He hid it. So we wouldn't. So that's why we were complaining. Efrat beishe royu shebeemes yesh lem yisurim gedolim v'chesroinos. They went 3 days without water. But they were fine. But the Yetzer ekes into, hey, it's 3 days, you didn't have any water. 3 days you didn't have any water. Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Shemaim, he was there for 40 days without water. Right? 40 days, right? Right? We thought that maybe we're not worthy to this complete redemption. Okay, Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, but maybe we're not really worthy to go into Eretz Yisrael. Maybe we're not worthy. Wow. Are there not enough kvarim? Are there not enough places to be buried in Mitzrayim? Right? We had plenty of cemeteries in Mitzrayim. Why do we have to come out here for? They said it would have been, we could have died in Mitzrayim, we could have had a nice burial, everything would have been good. Why do we have to die like this for? Natural causes.
Wait, is there a difference between having emunah in Hashem and feeling yourself not worthy to deserve Hashem?
So we're learning this interesting thing here. The food can bring a person, right? The Yetzer can bring a person to have faulty humility.
Right, yeah.
So again, this would be a case of faulty humility. Right? In other words, okay, Hashem, you took me out. I'm not worthy. So therefore, it would have been better if you didn't take me out because, again, I'm no good. Faulty humility.
So it's saying that it wasn't because they didn't have emunah, it's because they had this false humility.
The faulty humility. They had a faulty humility because, again, they felt that they weren't worthy of it. They knew Hashem can do it, but not for me. Hashem can do anything, but maybe not for me. But that's not what we were supposed to believe. We were supposed to believe that really HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out, and the fact that He showed us He took us out, that means He wants us to be successful.
Right.
And like I keep saying, He said, "B'ni b'chayri Yisrael Mitzrayim," when you are on your lowest level. When we were in the desert already, we were we were getting closer to Har Sinai. We were a little bit better. We were getting better, but He didn't want to let us believe that we were getting better.
The Yetzer, right?
The Yetzer didn't want to let us believe. That's his job. That's his job, right?
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does his job so well. Yeah. It would have been much better if he would have been one of these, lazy workers, always taking a coffee break. But he never. Yeah. You want to say something, Ellie?
The Rosh used to say the best teacher is the Yetzer Hara. He never gives up. He never gives up. He's like white on rice. He says, if you can't do it this way, he'll figure out another way.
Ain't Shem Yayish Bailam. He never gives up.
So he's a great teacher. He's a great teacher. So we should pay attention.
We could learn from him then, right?
You what?
We could learn from him.
We're supposed to learn from him. That's what Ellie, that's what you're saying, right? Learn from the Yetzer Hara. That he's relentless. He's relentless, right? He'll just keep going. He'll just
Never gives up.
if you exactly, you win with him one now, and then he'll get you again. He'll come back again. He'll come back again.
Yeah.
How do you know?
How do you know what?
When it's the Yetzer Hara or whether it's the
Well,
other?
you because like we said, you have to always ask yourself, if this what I'm going to do now, is this going to bring me closer to Hashem, or is this going to distance me from Hashem? So if I complain that Hashem, that there's not enough graves in Egypt. They could have, it could have been over there. That's not bringing me closer to Hashem, right? That's not bringing me closer to Hashem, right? So we said, anytime you do something, you always ask yourself, what I'm going to do now, is this going to bring me closer to Hashem, or is this going to distance me from Hashem? If it's going to bring me closer to Hashem, I'll go ahead and do it. If it's going to take me away from Hashem, so why would I want to engage in that? But we're saying here, the Yetzer Hara, what the problem is, though, the Yetzer Hara attacks the person that doesn't let him ask that question. He makes it so clear to the person that this is the way it is. You understand? He makes it so clear that this is the way it is. You don't even ask the question. You have no choice. You have to do this. But that's what Rav Nosson is trying to teach us, what's going on behind us. So when we come to these situations, we know how to deal with them. We're not worthy for these type of miracles. Where did we come to have a miracle that we'll have water in the desert? But it wasn't because of them. Really, we had the bear Mayim, right? That was because of what? Miriam, right? Because of Miriam, we was like to have the bear Mayim, right? We had the man in the midbar. Why? Because of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu, on his chus, we had the man, right? Right? In other words, it wasn't necessarily for us. Again, believe in the tzaddikim and the tzidkaniyos.
Well, he answers it right here. Surely know his shortcomings, but yet trust in God, and it's a tzaddikim.
Yeah, the tzaddikim. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't because of their schusim. That's why we keep saying it's so important to work with the tzaddikim. Because again, you're right. Okay, Yetzer Hara, I'm not worthy, but the tzaddik is, and I'm with him. I believe in the tzaddik. I believe in Hashem.
Maybe me, I'm not, but the Jewish people. That's
as a group, as a whole group, and the tzaddik is part of the group. So because on his merit, I can be saved too, right?
Right.
On his merit, on her merit, right? In this case, we're talking about water, so we're talking about Miriam.
But the whole idea about Yom Kippur too is that maybe we're not worthy, but the Jewish people are worthy to be saved, right?
Well,
As a people. Yeah. You want to say something?
aren't we worthy because we were created by Hashem?
Of course, we're worthy because but again, we're just showing. Rav Nosson is trying to show us the tactics of the Yetzer Hara, how he tries to attack us. Okay, and this happens. This really happens, and again, you don't necessarily. And that's why we're analyzing what happened in the desert. We're analyzing this to learn from the story, right? You want to say something else, Ellie?
I was thinking of the Arushim Yechnesu Pardes. And Acher had said, he went behind the parda, and I can't do tshuva.
Right.
And the resounding, response was from Rabbi Akiva.
Right. The Baskel said, "Shuvu banim shuvu chutz meyacha." Right. Shuvu banim shayvavim chutz meyacha. Right. Unbelievable. But he should have said that we don't believe that we don't believe in Baskel. So I'm down here. I can do what I have to do.
The Baskel said you can't.
The Baskel told him that, right? He had the heavenly voice came out and said to him, "Everyone can do tshuva except for you, Acher."
It was a test for him.
Yeah. Well, again, of course, and that's why we learn these things to help us, so we understand that. Because the Baskel comes out, tells us, everyone except for you, Yankel and Shmuel and Beryl, right? It's the same thing. But that's fine. But the Torah is here, and the Torah says I can do tshuva. And that's what we're really learning. Okay.
One could apply Azut to Kedusha in this case, like that. Me? And you say, I can't make tshuva? I can't make tshuva. Like this is the chutz me'acher.
Right. No, you're right, okay, but the person can say to himself again, if he has the right humility, right, and he understands he's humble, and he understands he made his shortcomings, right? So then he wants to get closer to Hashem. So then he'll use the Aziz to Kedusha, he'll use that Aziz in order to fight back and say, I will do this. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, okay.
But it's interesting.
But only if he's humble.
But if we
Right, the person is arrogant. He's not looking to come back to Hashem. Yeah.
But if I'm thinking I'm humble, then I'm wondering if I'm really humble.
Humble again is when you realize a person realizes his own value, where he is in life, and he realizes how great Hashem is. And he realizes his life and where his level is in life based on how great Hashem is. Right? A person becomes humble because this guy has in his bank account $1 million, and I only have in my bank account $100, right? So that's not humility.
Yeah.
Right? That's not humility, right? But if a person realizes that, I realize where I am in my Torah study, I realize where I am with my tefillah, I realize where I am with my ma'asim tovim, right? My midos, right? And he realizes how great Hashem is, and that drives him to do better, to get closer to Hashem.
I realize how great Hashem is. I'm not sure I realize where I am in my Torah learning or any of that. I mean,
okay,
except for I am where I am.
Well, you'll work on it.
Work on what? Knowing where I am?
Yeah, as you get closer to Hashem, you'll realize if a person's honest with themselves, they can, yes.
They can know. What does it even mean to know where you are in your learning or tefillah? What does that even mean?
What does that mean? Well, okay, a person knows how they daven, how much concentration they put into their davening, right? How connected they feel they are to Hashem. Do they realize when they're davening that it's Shavisi Hashem L'negdi Sama, that Hashem is standing right in front of me and He's listening to every word I'm saying?
Okay.
Right? Recognizing that.
Okay.
Can you imagine someone that davens, recognizing that Hashem is literally standing there? If you saw Hashem standing there, right? How would that davening be? Would that shachris take 32 minutes? No, really. No, really. If Hashem was standing, right?
So
But Hashem is there.
So as a minion, we don't realize He's standing there. Is that what you're
But
saying?
I'm trying to explain to you. This is how you can realize, you can gauge how you are based on where you are with these things. That's just one thing. You understand? Okay?
When you take the 3 steps back and the 3 steps forward, you're going right in front of you. He's right in front of you then. That's what you're doing.
I understand that. However,
Keep it
what we're
there.
really saying as a minion, we really don't daven that way.
Some do, some
No,
don't.
some people do. Some people are working on it. Yes, I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, all right. Ki bevadei tzrichen lahakir chesroinu, because we have to recognize our shortcomings. See what he says here? Ki bevadei tzrichen lahakir chesroinu. We have to recognize our shortcomings. We have to be honest with ourselves. If a person's not honest with themselves, so then they'll never get anywhere. Right? Only an honest person that's honest with themselves, because Chazal say, Yadeya inish benafshay. Right? Everybody knows themselves. And if they're honest, right? If they're humble, then they'll look at their shortcomings and they'll try to fix their shortcomings. Right? If the person is arrogant, I have no shortcomings. I'm perfectly fine. Right?
But sometimes I don't feel I can fix my shortcomings.
So then that's what Rabbi Nachman says, believes if you believe you can break it, believe you can fix it. Right? If you believe you could break something, that means you have the same power, the ability to fix it. Because you couldn't break it if you couldn't fix it. Does that make sense?
Well, unless I didn't know I was breaking it because I didn't know what halakha was, whatever, but yeah.
But then you can fix it.
You didn't know when. What do you mean?
When I was growing up,
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this.
You didn't have to know that, but the day that you did know it, now how do you act now? That's the thing. Hashem put you in your family, where you were born, with your siblings, with your friends, with your school, and everything around it. He did all of that to bring you to that day that you'll come to recognize, and then that's the day we start counting. That's the day it gets counted. Because Hashem, you didn't pick where you were going to be. None of us did.
Right.
None of us picked where we were going to be born. Right, Sasha, you didn't pick that you were going to be born in Moscow, right?
Used to, I can't remember.
What?
No, I wouldn't pick that.
Right, okay, now I was born in Queen. Ellie, where were you born?
I was born in Boston.
Where?
In Boston.
In Boston. Wow. Oh, never. No, the Red Sox, I say. I'm from New York. There's a resentment.
So if sometimes I'm planning not having the koach to work through it, that's what I really need to work through, because I know that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, so then work on that. That's what we're trying to say, right? That's it. Recognize you're short. That's what he says. Bevadei tzrichin lahakir chesroinei. Ba'afal pichein yiftach b'Hashem v'tzaddik hames. But you have to believe, know your shortcomings, but believe in Hashem, believe in the tzaddikim, the koyach of the tzaddikim, to make the tikkunim for you, right? To make the repairs for you, right? Ki Hashem is baruch yazir loy b'chaz loy, because Hashem is going to assist you. Hashem wants to assist you. Hashem wants you to do tshuva. So you just have to be in the program. You just have to get into the program, and Hashem is going to take you. That's all. You just have to. You just have to sign up and be real. That's it. That's all you have to do.
But you also told it it's about our effort, and that we're making that effort.
Yeah, but that's an effort to sign to join. Yeah, that's an effort. Right? You made a big effort. You went to the Ukraine, right? You were in Umar for Rosh Hashanah, right?
You keep telling me.
Yeah, you were in Umar for Rosh Hashanah, right? That was a big effort you made, right?
I don't know. It didn't
Right,
really
you
feel
lost
like
your
it.
pillow on the way, right? You had to find it, right?
So I lost
And then
the
you had
pillow.
that green bag, and you had the other bag, and it was a long trip, right? Right?
Yeah, it was that's minor.
No,
stuff.
but that was effort you put in. That was effort you put in to get to the tzaddik, right? To get to the tzaddik, get to the Rebbe's Rosh Hashanah, right? That's what you did. You did do that. And now you have to believe that the tzaddik, and you have to believe, and you have to believe in the tzaddik, and the tzaddik said if you come there, he'll work on making you the tikkunim. That's what he does. That's why people
How do I
go.
know if I've made it? I mean, what you're saying
Not
is,
you.
if
You
I-
just have to believe. No. This is about emunah, believing vayaminu b'Hashem uva Moshe avdai. Right. We just said that in the morning. Right. We believed in Hashem and Moshe his servant. Right.
Right.
You just said that.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what it's all about. Believing again, like he just said over here. Right. Believe in Hashem and the true tzaddikim, because they're there to help us. That's what the tzaddikim are here. The tzaddikim are not there for themselves. They're there to help us. The tzaddikim want to help us.
So let's say I believe they're helping us.
Okay.
Or they're helping me.
Yeah.
I still sin. I still make mistakes.
You make mistakes, so
I don't
you
have the energy to do something, or I mean, I
I
feel like
understand.
getting better, but it's like
okay. So that's
still, I'm not perfect. We're not going to ever be perfect.
So no one said you're supposed to be perfect. No one said
Well,
we're
how do I know if
supposed to
I'm
be.
making the effort the way Hashem wants me to?
Because if you're getting up in the morning and you're connecting to Hashem and you're doing your esbodedut and you're coming to daven and you're putting on your tefillin and you're daven and you're doing what you're in the program. You're learning Torah.
I'm in the program. I
Right.
know that I'm in the program. I
Right.
signed up
No,
for it.
it's not, if you feel that's not easy, probably you're doing something. If you feel like, all right, I'm just like, okay.
That comes from humility, feeling that I have my shortcomings. That's humility. Arrogance says I do everything perfect.
However, and I guess it comes back. I just have trouble when I don't have the koach to do something and I know it's the right thing to do.
Okay, so cry out this thing. You go, Oi, Hashem, I need help. Hashem, give me the koyach. I want to do this, Hashem. It's your ratzon that you want me to do this. I want to do this. I need the koyach. Give me the koyach. Ask Hashem. Ask him. Right then and there, ask him. Hey, I need the koyach. It's no big deal. Hashem can give you the koyach. No problem. Right? Okay. They couldn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu because of their kaitzer ruach. They were short breath. Well, they were slaves, right? When Moshe Rabbeinu came to Klal Yisrael when they were in Mitzrayim, and he was telling them all these words of encouragement that they were going to come out of Mitzrayim and this and that, they couldn't listen to him. Right? They knew they were going to get whipped if they didn't have enough bricks and whatever it was. They didn't collect enough straw that day. Right? So they couldn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu. K'layim mishum dechazu delay have behind the uvdin the kisherin v'tovin. Because they didn't believe in their good maisim and their good act. They didn't believe like you were just saying. They didn't believe that they had good actions and good things. They didn't believe that. But you know, the Medrash also does say that every shot, you know, Moshe Rabbeinu did cause for them to get to have a day off, right? Moshe Rabbeinu went to Paro, and he said to Paro, you know, if you want your slaves to be successful, you want to keep your slaves and they'll produce for you, you have to give them a day off, right? And so Paro said, okay, what day you want off? So he said, give them off Shabbos, right? So Moshe Rabbeinu said, okay, fine. So the Medrash says that really we would sit around and we had some kind of Megillus or something that was given from Avraham Avinu. We had from Yitzchak Avinu. Yaakov was passed down, and we would sit in a circle and we would be machazik each other on Shabbos. That's what we would do. That was amazing. But they didn't think it was something important. They didn't think it was good. They didn't think it was good. But it was amazing. They had a emunah that Hashem is going to take them out. They spoke about it. Now Moshe Rabbeinu comes to them, and Moshe Rabbeinu is telling them, okay, now it's time. Hashem is going to take you out. No, not us. Not us. Hey guys, you're talking about it. No, but no, we know it can't be us. It's unbelievable when you really analyze the thing. Mikoitze ruach. They were short, but they could listen to it. It's unbelievable. They felt they had this another, they had this faulty another, this faulty humility, that they didn't believe that it could be them. Could you imagine Moshiach will come?
Right.
We're preparing ourselves. Moshiach will come. Okay, you're getting out now. Oh no, it can't be us. No, not us. Come on. I know. We know. Think about it. This is mama's the same thing going on. We're waiting for Mashiach to come. But when Mashiach's going to come, we'll say, hey, wait, it can't be us. No, that we can't do that. We have to prepare ourselves.
And then you got the 80% that didn't want to leave.
They didn't want to, well, yeah, only a fifth left. Right?
Only a fifth left.
It says, V'chamushim olam mitzrayim. Rashi says it means that they were armed, right? Chamushim also means armed, right? But chamushim also means a fifth.
So you think the Moshiach come, all these people, rich people in America, that they're going to leave their businesses?
We don't know. We don't know. Yeah, I was talking to some people. They said, the Arabs, they're building some really big, lavish palaces. They have very, very lavish. What?
For us.
They're really building it for us, for those guys. Those guys that leaving. Those guys that are in the 5 towns in the back Lawrence, and they're living in their big, their Fifth Avenue, penthouse apartments over there, right? Those huge. They need something nice, right? So Mashiach will show, hey, you can come over here. Look, you take this house.
Okay.
Not enough. Very few.
Huh?
Very few nice ones. All the rest is just land pollution.
Yeah.
I think it's great. How much we need to work. I mean, Hashem will work.
Yeah. Okay. Either way, but we have to think about it. Take this to heart. Really, are we gonna? What's gonna happen? In other words, we kept saying, we keep talking about we want Mashiach. We want He's gonna come. He's gonna come. Mashiach is gonna come. But we keep telling each other, right? We keep talking about it. Now Mashiach will come. We'll say, what, me? But this is what happened to them, right? They were 210 years. They were in Mitzrayim, right? So they passed a generation, right?
Long time.
What?
Long time.
Right. They passed a generation. This next generation, right? It may have been the third generation, right? And then so now they're saying it can't be us. They couldn't listen.
About as old as America is about that old, a little older, but it's
older. America's isn't America 275 years? Whatever.
But I mean, it's a couple of years, like that's about what it is to think about from the beginning of the world.
That's right.
So about now.
Machmas another psula. Shehu bechinas meichin the katnis. In other words, they have that meichin. See how important this is? This lesson is so important for us to take this to heart. This lesson is so important to take to heart, because really, what are we going to say when Mashiach is going to come? He's going to come any moment. Any moment. This is these current events. This is any moment that's going to happen. And how are we going to react? Are we going to have that faulty humility and say, well, it can't be us. Or we're going to say, you know what, Hashem, wow, we were waiting for this. We're ready. We're going. Because again, if we get closer to Hashem, we do the truth, we get closer to Hashem, then we can have the proper arrogance, the holy arrogance, the holy chutzpah when we need it. But you can only have that if you have the right humility. Right? Okay. That's why they came to this big mistake. They made a big mistake that they couldn't even listen to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, hey guys, you're going out now. They couldn't listen. Unreal. Okay. So let's finish. We'll just finish the last lines and okay, you have to go, David?
I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Shaykh, okay. Okay. So now we say like this. Shemaftirim Pesach b'Shabbos Chol HaMoed b'inyan Tchias HaMeisim Shel Yecheskel. Right? The Nevuah of Yecheskel, right? Ki Iker HaGeula b'chinas Tchias HaMeisim. The main Geula is really Tchias HaMeisim. What does it mean, Tchias HaMeisim? So Tchias HaMeisim, of course, we're waiting for the resurrection of the dead. Of course. For those that are lying in the ground. Of course. But we keep saying that really the resurrection of the dead is those that are living today with this faulty humility. Right? This faulty humility, and they feel it's not me, or they have too much arrogance, and they're not in the program. You can't go out unless you're in the program. You need that Tchias HaMeisim. And that's why he's saying that in the Haftarah on Pesach, right? The Haftarah on Pesach, we're talking about Tchias HaMeisim. Why are we talking about Tchias HaMeisim? Because guys, if you want to be successful, if you want to really go out of Mitzrayim, you want to go out of that mind frame, that thinking that it can't change, nothing can change. I'm stuck. It's not me. It can't be me. That mind frame, you need to believe in the Tchias HaMeisim. You need to believe in that really I could be resurrected while I'm alive now. You know, when we say in the Shmon Esrei, right, we say L'Shenei Ofer, right? We say L'Shenei Ofer, and then we say Mechaya HaMeisim. Okay, so wait a second. So if we're talking about the L'Shenei Ofer, so then what's the Mechaya HaMeisim? We just said about them, right? You ever think about that?
What's the Shenei?
Shenei Ofer means those that are lying in the ground. Those are the ones that are physically dead, right? That are dead, dead,
Okay.
right? They're buried. The ones that are buried,
Right.
people that are buried. Okay, and then we say Mechaya HaMeisim, but we just talked about them. So really, there's a whole school of thought to believe that really we're saying Mechaya HaMeisim is those that are alive. Make them alive. Mechaya HaMeisim, those that are spiritually dead right now, bring them alive. And that's what we make the bracha, because that's the ikar thing. The Tchias HaMeisim is Tchias HaMeisim. But really, what about the people that are alive? How do we wake them up? How do we bring them closer? How do we make people ready for Mashiach when he comes that will accept Mashiach? Will have that courage to go with Mashiach. Right? Mashiach is supposed to straighten out the whole world. Could you believe that? Right now, the whole world hates us, right? A couple of countries, they want to make free peace with us, right? And they want things from us. But really, what is it? But really, I think this is the main, it's such an important lesson. I truly believe this is an important lesson. I love the way Rav Nosson really put it to us, that we couldn't listen to Moshe Rabbeinu mishum the kaitz ruach, because of that. So I think that's a very important lesson we should take to heart ourselves. And we should really think about it. We should be mizbainin and think this through. Really, what does this mean? How come, are we in the same situation? They say history repeats itself, right? So is history will repeat itself the same way. We learn everything out of our final Geula. We're going to learn out from Yetzias Mitzrayim, right? We're going to learn out what?
The final Geula is supposed to be the same as the
like
original
Yetzias Mitzrayim
one.
was. It'll be greater, but it'll be from the same principles. It'll be the same principles, right? So again, now we're in Gullus for over 3,000 years, right? We're in Gullus for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. We're in Gullus for a very, very long time. They were in for 210 years, right? But they had a shorter time. But for them, they didn't know. But we know from that. And we know that we have to mamish believe that when Mashiach is going to come, Mashiach is going to take us out. Because he's going to say, guys, he's going to reveal himself any day. Mashiach is always in the world. The question is, when is he going to reveal himself, right? So when the day when Mashiach is going to reveal himself, again discovered, right? We said discovery, right? He's here. We have to make a discovery on even Moshiach, right? So he's going to reveal himself, and then once he reveals himself, the question is, are we going to accept him? Are we going to accept him? So therefore, we're learning here really what it means, and then Reb Nosson is trying to teach us this concept, this wonderful concept that really anava, humility, and gaiva, arrogance is really one thing, right? You can't have one without the other, right? If you have one without the other, you don't have either one, right? If you have the proper humility, then you can have the proper arrogance and use your arrogance when you need to use the arrogance. If the person is just arrogant and doesn't have the humility, his humility, whenever he's supposed to use it, will be faulty, like the examples that we gave, right? Remember all the examples that we gave? Okay, so should we stop over here now? It's Erev Shabbos, right? It's a short day. Okay, so we'll stop over here, Baruch Hashem, and we'll pick up on Erev Yom Kippur. We'll do Lamed Beis Leiv. Right? We'll learn about the Leiv on Erev Yom Kippur, Beis Hashem. Okay, thank you, everyone.